Hello, U.S. History 101 class. Welcome to the late start class. Um, I Our class does not officially start till the 18th. If you are watching uh, this announcement on the 18th, you're fine. I'm only posting this earlier to help anybody get ahead that wants to. I opened up the first module ahead of time, and that's for any of you who want to get to work on it earlier. You're not required right now. And I have an earlier post, an announcement with an intro to the class that I did also ahead of time. So to be clear, nothing's expected of you to be done until the 18th, and that's when we officially start getting this class going. But I do want you, if you're looking at this announcement on the 18th and you didn't look at the intro video, everything that I post should be looked at. Okay, so announcements are always important. They're always related to this class, and you'll always need to look at them, as I mentioned in the syllabus. Okay, so having said that, what I promised in my first video is to explain a little bit more about the logistics of how to succeed in this class. Like, what are we doing? Okay. So for this week, you look at the module, and you're going to see that it looks like a normal week, meaning a regular semester, where I'm going to have 3 assignments and videos for you to watch. The next week and moving forward will be a little bit different than that, so I'll explain that in just a second. But for this week, you look at the module week 1, and you're going to see weekly work objectives. That simply just shows you what we're doing, okay? And I always advise you to look at that. I mean, if you look at the syllabus, that's great, but what's always going to be up to date, every time that I open up a module for you, so each Sunday I'll open up a new weekly module, always look at the weekly work objectives to see what is due for that week, because I will change it from time to time what you see on the syllabus. But remember, my syllabus mentions that this is the syllabus, and I will at times change it, but I'll give you advance notice. The advance notice will be when you open up the next week's module. It'll be a more accurate, updated set of information. Likely, I will always give less work than more if I'm going to alter things too much. So don't ever. So just remember that. Okay. So moving forward from that, then you're going to see the readings link, and that's where I have it in the syllabus too, the free online textbook and the Howard Zen. But I will have the links posted also in the readings link, and then I'll often put articles from other sources for you to look over. And sometimes there'll be interpretations or comments historically about the subject we're having, or a primary source. A primary source is something that's directly a source linked to the time periods we're covering. And so I have some of that also, starting with the doctrine of discovery, which you'll look into. And then after that, you'll see I have the assignments in the module. Assignment 1, 2, and 3. First, so I have discussions, video notes, and papers. And so for the video notes, just remember that you just have to take notes on every video. And students sometimes they have a hard time with this one. What I just want to mention is this. If I don't hold you accountable to prove that you watched a video, are you going to watch it? You know you're not. Now, it's not because you're not a hard worker. It's because you're working very hard. You have a lot of things to do in your life, which I totally understand. So if I post a video, I'm saying, hey, you got to watch the video. And you're going to prove to me that you watched it, or at least some of it. I know some of you try to get around this still, but I am looking for proof, video notes showing that you actually watched the video, and you're going to give me 2 points made by it, or sometimes more if it's a longer video, which I will mention there, okay? And you have to write notes about everything, whether it's a lecture from me or an outside video, okay? Documentary clip. Now, not the announcements. I'm talking about in the module section, okay, where it says video 1, video 2, video 3, okay? And I'm going to post examples of what video notes should look like. For the discussions, they're much more, I think, straightforward. Most of the students understand them. I'm going to have a prompt that's going to say, this is what you're going to talk about, and you're going to answer it, and then you're going to respond to other students, okay? And then it comes to the Sunday papers. The Sunday papers are the most work intensive, or the Sunday essays. They're not research papers. The whole entire point of all of my assignments is that it's a way for you to demonstrate that you're engaged with the material that we're covering in class. So when I look at the video notes, I should say, wow, okay, this student is in my class. I know the videos I'm posting, and these are notes reflecting that. I see the discussion. Okay, the topic I said was addressed, and the material from the class is addressed in the discussion. Good job. Then I look at the Sunday paper, just one page, okay, for the most part. I'm going to read it, and it's going to be a topic. And again, it should look like you just sat through this class this week. It's going to stand out because you're going to be using the material that we covered in class. And you have to cite. Now, if you are a history major at a big university, you'll use Chicago style. A lot of you at the community college level get used to the MLA. And then there's other citation styles. And in the academic world, it's very important to get these precise when turning in papers. I'm not having you do that for this class. So I'm going to be giving you an example of a paper, how citations will look for just for this class, okay? And it doesn't really qualify as a particular method. But what it's going to do, it's also going to hold you accountable to the material. You're not going to rely on AI. Sorry, folks, okay? You have to put paper in your own words that you wrote, covering material that we covered. And here's how this works. Citations belong after a direct quote. That's the simple part. Or a paraphrase. Paraphrase means in your own words. So if I see a paragraph and you give me information that I know comes from what you just learned by reading or a video, you should have in parentheses a citation that then, after you've written that, will clarify where you got the information from. Now, when I look at the citation, I should be able to immediately know how to find exactly the source that you used with no problem at getting it. So you could put Zen page 132, and I know I can go to the Zen's People's History 132. OpenStax textbook, what page or section? Article, for the articles, you could just, you can shorten it, you can abbreviate them, but I would know which article link that you use, or video 1, Pollock video 1, or something like that. And I'm going to know right away where it came from. And that goes for, again, paraphrase, direct quotes. Paraphrase, direct quotes, always should see citations. Okay? And if you are confused with that, I'll gladly help you with it. This is very important, though, to prevent the problem of plagiarism. Plagiarism is a huge problem. And I have a problem with it every semester, and it never ends. And no matter how much I talk about it, no matter what examples I show, students get desperate. And it's usually you're desperate because you're busy, you're tired, you don't want to do the paper, and you gaslight yourself into thinking that this is going to work. It's not going to work. It's going to get you in a lot of trouble. please don't do it. Okay? If you need more time for your paper, I want you to communicate with me first, and we can talk about that. If you need help on your paper, we can work through that. But not only is there Turnitin that shows me certain things, I have other ways to find out. Some people get away with it. I'm not out policing you. I'm not trying to get you in trouble. But it's amazing how easy so many of you get caught at times. And I think, again, it's in that act of desperation. Just don't do it. Again, no plagiarism. Now, you also just have to have dates in a paper. A history paper has to be grounded in some sort of like time period. Not the date that you sent me the paper, the essay, but, you know, what are we talking about time-wise? So when I grade a paper, before I read it, I look, is there dates, citations, only using material from what we covered in class, no outside sources, okay? Once I see that those were all done, I read the paper, the essay, right? But if any of those are not done, that's a 0, okay? I'll let you know, and at first, if you have a problem with that, I'll write to you, and then you'll just fix it, and I'll work with you. The first 2 weeks, I'm going to be really lenient, but I want you to get all on board with this really fast, okay? So that's what the expectations are on the papers. And so every week, you're going to do this twice. You're going to have part 1, and you're going to have the discussion, video notes, and a paper due on a Thursday. And then part 2, all of that due on a Sunday. And again, why are we doing so much work? Well, we're starting later than the semester started, and you're actually ending earlier. This is really like a cram course. So you have to prioritize. You have to make time for this. This is not an easy thing, but it's doable. And I have many students who get A's in these late starts and really feel good about it, despite the fact that it's just a lot of work. So I can't stress that enough to just, this is what we have to do. We have to work. Now, I'm going to be posting examples. So with this video, I'm going to show an example of video notes, and I'm going to have an example of what a Sunday essay should look like. I'll probably do that a few times over to really drill in, you know, what these should look like. And we'll see how well everybody does in the first week too, and what I need to address and what's being missed. So I hope that this was helpful. I know it's a 12-minute, going on 13, 14-minute video, but hopefully everything that I talked about will enable you to be well prepared and know what to do. I don't like to, there's no tricks. It's a very consistent, my layout, and I'm always going to be there to help you. So if you have any problems with anything, communicating with me is always the answer. Okay, if you're second guessing yourself about something, contact me. And yeah, that's all I have to say right now. So I hope you all have a great week. Tomorrow, Monday is President's Day. And I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of different opinions about presidents during this time right now. So anyhow, U.S. history is what we'll be covering. And we're watching a lot of history unfolding right now before our very eyes. So we'll be in touch.